Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be taking a close look at the Latitude 64 Rive. This disc, wow, it is pure beef. If you are a big arm thrower, this disc is for you. Speed 13, glide 5, turn 0, and a fade of 3.5. This disc was made for the big boys. When it comes to the profile, the Rive has a very sharp rim to it. Also, a slight amount of dome, not pop top, but just a slight amount of dome. And in my opinion, the orbit run of the Rive has just, I don't know, it just feels slightly deeper than when it comes to the regular stock run. But regardless, flat or semi-dome, the feel of this disc for myself, not terribly comfortable because of that really wide rim. I have really small hands, so it is very difficult for me at least to get a good grip, which can lead to inconsistent throws. So how about the flight? Well, one word: beef. The Rive is certified beef, very overstable for someone with slower arm speed like myself. This is not for the faint of heart. You really need to have a fast arm in order to take really good advantage of the Rive and what it can do. If you're a slower arm speed player, I suggest not necessarily taking a look at the Rive because it's way too much disc for us. There are discs that can do the exact same shot shapes that the Rive can, but have much narrower rims, so that way they're a lot more controllable. So with that being said, how does the Rive fly? Well, again, this is for a slower arm perspective. I mentioned before, it's absolute beef. I throw this thing hyzer or flat, and that it's just gonna pretty much hyzer almost right out of the hand. Perfect for very windy days. It's a great headwind fighting distance driver for players with slower arms, but where I think it really does shine is on those forced over flex shots. Just put it on an anhyzer line, and with its great resistance to torque, makes it perfect for forehand flex shots as well. And then that really late stability to it, it is such a trustworthy disc that you never have to worry about it turning over. It's going to fight out of just about any kind of angle that you put it on. Such a trustworthy finish. And the Rive also has pretty good glide for a disc this overstable, so if you can get it on that anhyzer line and just kind of hold it a little bit, you're going to be able to get a lot of big distance with those flex shots. Also, in the woods and utility, the Rive can get some amazing forward pushing skip shots. Now, we've seen what the Rive will do for a slower arm, but how about a bigger arm? Thank you again to Richie for lending me his arm for this video. I'll put a link in the description to his amazing YouTube channel. Go ahead and check it out. So the first shot is with the first run, which is probably the least stable run of the Rive.
Editor's note, these are the Silver Lat Orbit Rives. They're more overstable.
You may have noticed with the first run, he kept it on an extreme hyzer. It flipped up nearly to flat before hyzering out. With the Grand Orbit, he's able to throw that flat and get a very similar flight. Now when thrown into a pretty stiff 15-20 mile an hour headwind, yes, there's going to be some turn. You can see that the first run gets quite a bit of turn and just a little bit of fade back at the very end, versus then compared to the Orbit, which is, in my opinion, I found it also to be a little bit more overstable. Like Richie says, even into the big headwind, yes, you do get a bit of turn, but it has a really strong fight back. This is such a trustworthy disc. It doesn't matter what arm speed you have. This is such a wind fighting driver that big arms, I think this is a must for your bag. Even though the Rive is extremely overstable for my arm, I can still notice a little bit of difference in the stability between the Orbit and then also the stock runs. I do agree with Richie's take that the Orbit is just a little bit more overstable than when it comes to, say, the stock run. As you're going to see here, when thrown on a slight anhyzer line, the Orbit will get a little bit of turn in the mid-flight, but then have that really strong, predictable finish. And then when it comes to just the regular stock run, a little bit more turn in that mid-flight. Not a whole lot. It's still extremely overstable, but again, just a little bit of noticeable difference with the amount of turn in the mid-flight. The Rive is definitely not a beginner disc. In fact, if your friend gives you the Rive and you're just starting out, it's probably a practical joke. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to visit Great Lakes Disc and use the promo code LEFTY to get 10% off your order on both either the Rive or any other disc that you're looking for. Till next time, keep banging them chains.